If you want to start virtual assistants, you are going to find a lot of videos, tutorials, tips on how to start virtual assistants. And that could be overwhelming for someone completely new to virtual assistants. Even I myself have a lot of videos about virtual assistants, and that could confuse you, that could even be overwhelming, and that is why I decided to make this video. Because in this video, I'm going to share with you a 7-step process from the very beginning, from the basics, as someone completely new to virtual assistant, where you should start, what your next step should be, up to the moment where you will find your first client and you will become a virtual assistant. Okay, let's start with what exactly is a virtual assistant. A virtual assistant is an individual offering administrative support services to clients remotely in a remote location, usually from your own home. But as a virtual assistant, you offer services like data entry using Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can do something like calendar management. You can manage your client email inbox. You can do social media management. You can do community management. There are a lot of things that you can do as a virtual assistant, and usually virtual assistant get paid by hour. You get paid by the hours that you work for client, either weekly, bi-weekly, or even monthly, depending on your agreement with the client. Okay, so what should be your first step if you want to become a virtual assistant? The very first step is choosing a service. As a virtual assistant, you are offering specific services to client, and so this is going to be your very first step. This is your number one step. Pick a service or a services that you are going to start offering to client. And there are a lot of services that you can choose from and start offering as a virtual assistant. The service that you choose should depend on your learning capability and the skills that you already have. Generally, if you already have some skills, like if you have some data entry skills or if you have some social media experience, you can just choose from that and start offering. If you don't have enough skills to start offering as a virtual assistant, you can just choose a skill that is going to be easy for you to learn. That is why I said the skills you choose should depend on your learning capability. Some of the skills, some of the more general skills that virtual assistant offer is data entry, that is using Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, usually Microsoft Excel, and something like using Microsoft PowerPoint. And you can do something like calendar management, that is you manage your client calendar. You can do email management. Those are some of the easy to learn tasks that you can offer as a virtual assistant. You can even do social media management, not social media marketing. There is a difference between social media marketing and social media management. Social media marketing requires some expertise, and social media management doesn't really require any expertise. You can do community management for business coaches. Usually online coaches have communities. Some they have Facebook groups, premium Facebook groups. Some they have communities in a platform like Kajabi, and they want someone to manage the community, and you will act as a moderator. And this is something that doesn't really require an expert. So if you want to start virtual assistants, this is your first step. Pick a service to start offering. I have a complete video where I showed the top 5 skills that are suitable for African freelancers. I'm going to put a link to that video in the description of this video. So if you are not clear about the services you want to start offering, you can watch that video after we finish this video, and it will help you figure out the best skills that you can choose from and start offering as a completely new to virtual assistant. Okay, the next step is learn the skills. When you choose the services that you want to start offering as a virtual assistant, your next step is learn the skills. Learn at least a decent level of skill in those services that you choose to start offering. And this is also easy. And that is why I said the skills you choose should depend on your learning capability. You should choose a skill that is going to be easy for you to learn. And nowadays it's easy to learn almost anything online. Almost anything you want to learn, you will find tutorials, tips, guides that are going to teach you how to do it completely free on YouTube. And in case you couldn't find a step-by-step guide to learn whatever you want to learn, you can easily go to Udemy. Udemy is an online course platform. You are going to find very cheap courses on Udemy on almost every topic. I personally bought many courses on Udemy. So if you couldn't find, for some reason, you couldn't find a step-by-step tutorials and guides on YouTube that are going to teach you at least a decent level of skill in the service you want to start offering, then Udemy is going to be your next choice. And if you want to become a virtual assistant, you have to be comfortable with learning on YouTube for free, because you are going to come across things that you don't know how to do on a continuous basis. If you are not comfortable with, if you don't know something, you go to YouTube and learn, then you cannot become a virtual assistant. Because many people will ask you, how can I do calendar management? How can I do social media management? And these are usually the wrong questions. When you want to learn a specific skill, it's very easy. You just go to YouTube and search for tutorials on that specific skill. This is the only way to become a virtual assistant. You are going to come across things that you don't know how to do on a continuous basis. If you rely on finding someone and ask them, how can I do this? Then you are in trouble. So you really have to be comfortable with, if you don't know how to do something, you go to YouTube and find tutorials and learn how to do it. So this is going to be your second step. Okay, the next step is create your profile in a freelancing platform. I always advise new beginners to virtual assistant to start with a freelancing platform. There are many places to find clients. You can find for client on Facebook groups. You can do cold outreach. There are many other places. But as a complete beginner and someone probably in Nigeria, someone in Africa, it's good to start with a freelancing platform. There are 3 major freelancing platforms: Upwork, Fiverr, and freelancer.com. I personally don't like freelancer.com very much, so I suggest you start with Upwork and Fiverr. And when you create your freelancer profile on a freelancing platform, then your profile there is going to serve as your portfolio. When you start looking for a client, your profile is going to be your portfolio. If a potential client asks for your portfolio, you can just give them a link to your profile. That is if you set the profile right. And I also recently created a complete tutorial on how to create your profile on Upwork. So if you don't already have your profile on Upwork, you can watch that video. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video. You can watch it and learn how to create your virtual assistant profile on Upwork. Okay, the next step after creating your profile on a freelancing platform is optimize your profile. Make your profile right. In order for your profile to serve as your portfolio, it needs to have all the aspects of a good portfolio. And some of the good practices of creating a right portfolio is, first, you should have your nice profile image, your nice smiling face on your profile. And you should avoid using a picture on your portfolio that has too much noise in the background. That is, if there are trees, there are buildings, there are other people in the background, then that is probably not going to be a good picture to use. You should have a nice smiling face on your portfolio, because smile generally disarm people. So it's nice to have that. And next is, you should have a clear introduction of yourself and the services you are offering. And this is easy when you are setting your profile in a freelancing platform, because they are going to guide you from this step to this step to that step. So you should have your nice introduction over there. And something to avoid is, everybody uses ChatGPT now. So you should avoid using ChatGPT to generate a description for yourself, because if you do that, it is going to generate a long description with a lot of fancy words, and it is going to sound really generic. And people who know ChatGPT, when they read the description, they are going to know it comes from ChatGPT. So you should avoid using ChatGPT to write your introduction. You should write your introduction yourself, and you can use ChatGPT to make it better. And if you don't know where to start, you can just do a search on Upwork and find some top virtual assistant on Upwork and see how they write their description, and you can take inspiration from their description. And other things your portfolio should have is your rate, how much you charge for project, and a clear description of each service that you are offering. And I have a whole tutorial on how to create an amazing and attractive portfolio as a complete beginner to virtual assistant. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description of this video, so you can watch that tutorial and learn how to create an appealing and attractive portfolio for yourself. Also, one thing to keep in mind is, you should always have a sample project. When you are just getting started as a complete beginner and you create your freelancer profile, your portfolio, then if you start conversation with potential clients, they are probably going to ask to see a sample of your work. So if you haven't completed any previous jobs, you don't have anything to show to them, how are they going to feel confident that you can do what you said you can do for them? And so that is why whatever you choose to start offering as a virtual assistant, create samples. do the work as if a client hire you to do the work for them, and then include it in your portfolio, in your freelancer profile. And so that way, when you start conversation with your potential client, you can show them that this is what you can do for them. Even when you start writing proposals, you can include your sample work in your proposal. And keep in mind, a portfolio with sample work is like 50 times more effective, if not 100, 50 times more effective than a portfolio with no sample work. So a sample work is very important. Okay, the next step is create a proposal template. A proposal is the initial message that you send to potential client when they indicate they want to hire a virtual assistant. And this is easy. I recently created a video where I showed the exact template, the exact proposal template that I use. So I'm going to put a link in the description of this video that is going to give you a free download. You can download a free template, a free copy of the exact template that I use. All you need to do is learn how to customize the template and remove some placeholder text, and make sure the actual proposal reflects any job that you are sending the proposal to. Just keep in mind that your proposal is the first line of communication between you and your potential client. So you have to know how to write a winning proposal, because even if you have the right portfolio, if the proposal is wrong, then your potential client are not even going to check out your portfolio. So you are not going to hear back from your potential client. And so if you are not hearing back from your potential client, there is probably something wrong with your proposal or your portfolio. Okay, the next step is finding client, which is the major part, right? And the major challenge for new virtual assistant. And when you start looking for client, if you did all the previous steps right, if you have the right portfolio and you have the skills to deliver a good job and you have the right proposal template, then finding client is going to be easy for you. And what you just need to do is you just need to learn how to apply for jobs the right way. I always recommend you start with a freelancing platform. And if you are using Upwork, then what you just need to do is, after you create your profile on Upwork, they are going to give you free 80 connect, I think 80 or 50 connect. And those connect is what you are going to use to find client. You have the right portfolio, which is your profile, you have the skills to start offering, and you have the right proposal template. So what you just need to do is know how to apply for the right jobs. When you are looking for jobs on Upwork, a key thing to keep in mind is only apply for jobs that you have a high chance of getting. When a client posts a project on Upwork, they are going to indicate whether they are looking for a beginner virtual assistant, intermediate virtual assistant, or expert virtual assistant. So you as a complete beginner, if you send your proposal to a client who is looking for expert or intermediate, you have a less chance of getting the job. But compared to if you send your proposal to clients who are looking for a beginner. And when a client posts a project on Upwork, they are going to have a lot of options. They can specify whether they are looking for a freelancer, a virtual assistant in a specific country, or if they are looking for a virtual assistant who speaks certain languages. So those are all the requirements that you have to check and make sure you meet the requirement before you send your proposal. If you only send your proposal to clients, to jobs who you have a high chance of getting, then finding your first client is going to be a lot easier. And there are a lot of steps involved in applying for jobs the right way on Upwork. So I have a complete video where I showed how I apply for jobs on Upwork. So I'm going to put a link to that video in the description of this video. So you can watch that video and learn how to apply for jobs the right way. If you do this, I am sure finding clients is going to be a lot easier for you. Okay, the next 7th step, which is the final step, is improve every day. When you are just getting started, even if you did everything very carefully, you are going to be making mistakes. This is inevitable. So you have to know that you will make mistakes, and the only way to get better is to do it every day and improve something every single day. If you send 100 proposals and you didn't hear back from the potential client, then it might be a good idea to sit down and review the process that you are following to find client and do something better. There might be some errors in your proposal, fix it. There might be some errors in your portfolio, you fix that. You can create more sample work that is going to be more appealing to potential client, and there is something to improve every single day. If you are improving every single day, then you are going to be an expert in whatever it is that you want to start offering. So these are the 7-step process that you can follow as a complete beginner to virtual assistant, and you have a higher chance of finding your first client very fast if you implement this 7-step process very well. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video.